She asked me to watch her child for 4 days straight. No supplies, no pay, just silence. After I asked for one simple thing, compensation. And that silence, it told me everything I needed to know. Let me take you back. Because this didn't start with a 4-day babysitting request. It started months before, when I said yes the first time. I'm a stay-at-home mom. That's my full-time job. Raising my kid, managing the house, and holding everything together. It's beautiful, exhausting, and more than a little isolating. So when my husband's longtime friend asked if I'd be interested in watching his girlfriend's 2 children, it felt like the perfect opportunity. A little side income, something productive, something familiar. One of her kids was even the same age as mine. It felt like a win-win. She was going to get childcare, and I was going to be compensated through the county. That's the deal we agreed to. I was ready. I filled out paperwork. I met with her caseworker. I followed every step. All she had to do was turn in a few documents. She didn't. Weeks went by, then months. And every time she asked if I could watch the kids, I said yes. I used my child's snacks, their juice, their space. I even used my own child's diapers when she didn't bring enough. I'm on WIC. I don't have an endless supply. But still, I made do. I made sacrifices. Because I believed I was doing something helpful. But each time I checked with the worker, the answer was the same. No paperwork. Nothing submitted. 6 months. It took 6 months before I saw a single check. 6 months of being promised it was in progress. 6 months of her saying she was just about to send it. 6 months of me doing a job without knowing if I'd ever be paid. And even after I finally got the money, after I was paid back for the time, the energy, the literal diapers, everything went south. She and my husband's friend broke up. The connection was gone. No goodbye, no thank you, just gone. And then, nothing. For months, I didn't hear from her, not a word. Until one day my phone buzzed. It was a message from her, out of the blue. Can you keep my youngest for 4 days straight? No explanation, no apology, no mention of the past. Just a demand dressed up like a question. And I remembered all of it. The unpaid months, the silent treatment, the missing diapers, the WIC juice boxes I handed over without blinking. So I asked her a simple question. Will I be paid? She read the message. And then she vanished. Again, no response. Not even a, let me think about it. Just read, and ignored. Let me be clear about something. I've never watched her children for free. Not once. Every hour I spent with them was eventually paid for by the county, after months of chasing her down for paperwork. So this wasn't about charity. This wasn't about helping a friend in a crisis. This was about being asked to give up 4 full days of my life, to provide overnight care, with no support, no supplies, and no pay. And when I asked for something fair, silence. That was her answer. And her answer said everything. It wasn't just about money. It was about respect. Because respect means bringing diapers for your child when you drop them off. Respect means not letting someone else feed your kids with groceries from a government assistance program. Respect means acknowledging the labor, the real, unpaid, unseen labor of a mother taking care of children that aren't hers. I wasn't just being asked to babysit. I was being asked to disappear, to erase my needs, my time, my worth, in exchange for nothing. And when I didn't play along, I was discarded. She didn't respond because she knew the answer wasn't free, and she wasn't interested in anything that came with a price. But here's the thing. I stopped babysitting after she moved counties. The payments couldn't go through anymore. Our professional relationship ended the moment she left. So when she reached out again, months later, I knew exactly what it was. It wasn't a job offer. It was a convenience grab. One last attempt to squeeze help out of someone she thought might still say yes. But this time, I didn't. I never heard from her again. No apology, no explanation, just silence. So, am I the asshole? Because I asked to be paid? Because I refused to hand over 4 days of my life for free? Because I said no to someone who never said thank you? Or is there something else going on here? Is this about how women, especially mothers, are expected to give endlessly? To babysit, to nurture, to provide, without expecting anything in return? To be grateful for the opportunity to serve, even when it costs us everything? You know, there's a saying, givers need to set limits because takers never do. And I learned that lesson the hard way. I'm not angry, not anymore. I'm just tired. Tired of being expected to carry the weight of someone else's child, someone else's chaos, someone else's irresponsibility, all while pretending it's not a burden. Tired of pretending that silence isn't an answer, because it is. It always is. So no, I'm not the asshole. I'm a mother. I'm a woman. I'm a human being who asked for what she deserved. And that should never require justification. So now, let me step out of the story for a moment. This is your host from AITA Stories. And I want to talk about what just happened. This wasn't just a story about babysitting. This was about boundaries, about dignity, about the invisible labor that so many women, especially stay-at-home moms, are expected to perform without recognition or compensation. It's about the emotional toll of being reliable in a world that takes advantage of reliability. It's about what happens when someone who's always said yes finally says no. There's something deeply relatable about this story, because at some point, almost all of us have felt used, taken for granted, silenced when we spoke up. And when that happens, it can make you question your own worth. But here's the truth. Asking to be paid for your time, your effort, your care, it's not selfish. It's not greedy. It's human. And if someone vanishes the moment you ask for something fair, they were never planning to treat you fairly to begin with. So, I want to ask you something. Have you ever been in a situation like this, where your kindness was mistaken for weakness, where your labor was expected, but never respected? If so, you're not alone. Drop a comment. Share your story. Let's talk about it. And if you're out there giving more than you're receiving, let this story be your reminder. You're allowed to say no. You're allowed to be paid. You're allowed to protect your peace. Because you matter. Your time matters. And your voice? It deserves to be heard. Thanks for listening. This has been AITA Stories. We'll see you next time.